As some of you may know now, I'm a dad. I've been officially a dad for a couple months now. And in these 2 short months, I've observed and had my eyes open to a whole new world of winning products. And in today's video, I want to highlight a specific product that is incredibly genius, and it's doing $50 million per year. But it's not all sunshines and rainbows here. So it's going to be a very good lesson in a lot of aspects. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to highlight the product. We're going to dive into the niche, the problem it solves, the website, and hopefully you can take that and repurpose it into whatever it is you're doing. That's always the goal with these videos, is to inspire. So without further ado, here we go. The store is called outletcare.com. Outlet. It's kind of a funny name. And what they sell is a cleared dream sock. That's what they call it. But what it really is a baby monitor. So it's a sock that you put on your baby, and it basically acts as an Aura ring. I don't know if you've ever seen the Aura rings, but they basically track your sleep and they track everything about you. And it does that same thing, but with a sock, so that you can see exactly what's going on with your baby at all times. So how is this useful, right? A lot of you may not be parents, so you're like, well, why is this necessary? It's a baby. Why does the baby care about its sleep? Well, the reason why is because there's a thing called infant sudden baby death syndrome. Okay, I forgot the name, but basically what happens is sometimes babies just like fall over or roll over and suffocate, or pass out and die. Literally, it's super sad. So what this does is it gives you that peace of mind as a parent that, this thing will tell you if something is happening to your baby, even if you don't see them, right? So let's say you're in another room and the baby's sleeping. You will have that peace of mind knowing that your baby's going to be safe, or you'll be notified if something is happening to your baby. Now, of course, this is very unnecessary, right? Like, people have been fine through the years just checking on their baby. I mean, it's not that hard to do that. I don't have one of these, for example. But the more I think about it, the more I realize how helpful it could be, right? And not just necessarily for that, preventing your baby from harming himself, but also from just actually tracking some of these things. It would be helpful to know, for example, if your baby's getting all the oxygen he needs or she needs. My baby is a girl, for those of you that don't know. So, I would love to know how much oxygen she's getting, just out of curiosity, really. Like, I'm not trying to micromanage her or anything. I know she's super healthy. I'm blessed to say that. But ultimately, I understand the premise of, there's just a lot of fronts here, a lot of aspects to this product that makes it really, really cool. So as you see here, we've been scrolling through the landing page. I mean, it's incredibly well done. This is probably one of the most high-tiered landing pages that we've seen on the channel. And it's no coincidence, right? They have some of this stock footage that is incredibly good. It's super high production value. And here's the thing, though. This brand, although they're pulling in insanely monthly revenues, like they're doing over $5 million a month, they're not doing that well when it comes to a profit perspective. So let me show you. This is actually a publicly traded company. And it's so funny. I didn't know this, but until today, really. But I've been saying lately how being an e-commerce business and being publicly traded is like mixing oil and vinegar, it seems like, because ultimately these days, people and investors specifically are very afraid of Amazon. They just see Amazon as this Goliath that no other e-commerce business could ever compete with. So because of that, a lot of e-commerce businesses just really tank anytime that they're traded in the stock market. They go down like crazy over time. So if I was an e-commerce business, which I am, I don't think I would want to go public because it seems to be almost a death sentence to the business. However, unfortunately, or fortunately for us actually, since they are publicly traded, we can see behind the numbers, and they're actually losing 32% margin every month, which is pretty startling, right? Like, that's a lot of money to be losing. So, they're losing $3 million a month. They're not making any money, right? They're generating $50 million in revenue. Sure, I added up all the quarters, but ultimately they're still losing money at the end of it all, which is pretty shocking. So, they're losing tens of millions of dollars every year operating this business. So hopefully that makes you feel a little bit better if you've been testing dropshipping products, right? And you're in the negative, right? Like, you're losing a little bit of money testing your ideas. At least you're not $10 million in the negative, right? Like this brand. But ultimately, I still think this is an incredibly genius brand, right? And I think we can learn a lot about this. So some of the biggest things that we can highlight is actually, or are, what we've covered in the last couple of videos. So I did an interview with Leo Isiano. He's done $3 million a month with dropshipping, and he mentioned some gems in that podcast. You really got to check it out. It's from like 2 days ago. It's a really, really valuable conversation. But one of the biggest things that I thought was incredibly helpful to highlight is the fact, something he said really. He said, problems don't change, right? People always have the same problems, but the products change. So if you can switch your mindset from, just trying to test the latest trendy product to trying to find the latest solutions to existing problems, that's a much better approach to building a sustainable business that can scale. So in this case, what is this business solving, right? They're not creating, they're not solving a new problem. Parents have always been concerned about their babies' well-being, right? Of course you are. Babies are so fragile. They really need you for everything. They're extremely needy. So because of that, they created a new solution to that problem, but that problem is always going to be there, right? Like, this is not just going to stop because of this product. So when you're doing your product research, keep these things in mind. Keep the problems in the world as kind of your north stars for products to find. And I know that may sound weird in some ways, right? Like, obviously we don't want these problems to exist, but that's why business is really cool, because it's not just about making money. Sure, making money is amazing, but it's also about solving problems. And I think that's really beautiful, right? We're trying to make life better for people ultimately. The more you can get that mindset in your head, I promise you, the more success you're going to have. And ultimately, I was very inspired by this brand because despite them losing a ton of money, obviously, I don't think they're doing great from a financial perspective. I think they've created just a really zen vibe, a really cool product overall that's innovative. And even though it's been really hard for them to pull it off, they're still trying their best. And I always commend that. I think building an e-commerce business is incredibly difficult, especially at this level, right? We've worked with brands that do these sorts of numbers, and it's, pretty difficult to operate sometimes because there's so many moving pieces, so many heads, so many people on payroll. And, that causes a lot of missed profit ultimately. So hopefully this sheds some light into a solution or a problem and solution that will help you. That was really about it. See ya.